Hello and welcome. India's digital public infrastructure has recently been the toast of the world. Whether you talk about Aadhaar, whether you talk about the UPI, the entire digital stack, as we call it, is now in such a form that other countries have been asking India for a piece of the action and to explain how India has done it. To discuss that and much more, we have with us the new generation member of the GVK family, the family which has been known for infrastructure, physical infrastructure, and now has now moved into digital infrastructure in a big way through his venture Equal. We present to you Keshav Reddy, who's the founder of Equal, which is making some interesting moves on top of the UPI digital stack. So welcome, Keshav, and thank you for speaking to us. I'll start off first with a little bit of what you have been doing and what your background has been. Now, you come from the GVK family, which is known for physical infrastructure, particularly airport infrastructure. Many of these wonderful airports India now has is thanks to the steps taken earlier by your family and your group. However, now you have moved away from that a bit and got into digital infrastructure in a big way, which is, of course, the story of India, just like I said. What exactly made you take this particular route to start off your own venture?
Thank you, Sourav, for inviting me here today. I think it's my privilege and honor. India today is at a very transformatory moment where the digital public good and stack has become so advanced that there's so many opportunities to build real businesses and solve big pain points at scale. And that's what really interested me to come and build something on top of the India stack. So I think Equal is something that got born because we realized there are a lot of problem statements pan-India where people find it difficult at a business, an Indian at a business, trying to share IDs, documents, records for access to some services. So the idea came up when we realized this happens to hundreds of millions of people on a monthly basis. So we're building Equal on top of the India stack in partnership with all the players that are required to share documents, IDs, records for that customer to actually get some access to services. So the inception of idea is actually once we realize there's a big problem statement and then realize we can build something that consumers love and what businesses require.
But, essentially, if you look at the digital infrastructure, UPI, it's everywhere, right? When you buy something, even a cup of coffee, you put in the UPI. Where does Equal come in? Tell our viewers a little bit about how Equal comes in and what the role of Equal is when you use UPI.
Sure. In terms of Equal is built on top of the ID stack, so identity as a part of the India stack. Wherever a customer and a business meet, there are a lot of points where the customer has to share some documents. Let's say, for example, he goes to a hospital, or he goes to a bank, or he goes to some place of co-working or some purchasing some product. At that point of time, actually, the experience is not very, is broken, where you have to give it, it's usually done over WhatsApp, but we are changing the way people are sharing there by enabling a very seamless, secure and compliant way for that individual to share to that business and the business to accept it in a format that they can consume in that manner. So we are on top of the sort of the identity, health, financial stack, not so much on the UPI stack per se, but yeah, I mean, there's so much opportunity that India has built with ONDC becoming really big, account aggregator becoming very big. And we've partnered with the India stack to enable that experience for customers.
So when for instance, if I check into a hotel,
sure.
And they ask me for my ID, the details. So where does Equal then come in? So I then have to sort of scan the QR code, and that's where Equal gets in, is it?
That's right. So Equal is, think of like payment gateways are there to share money. Equal ID gateway is there to share your ID in a seamless and secure manner. So at a business like a hotel will integrate us, and when you show up, either when you're on the way or at the place, you will just scan the QR code and your IDs of your choice with your consent get shared. And so it makes me much more seamless experience.
And the same for hospitals, for instance.
That's right. It's a similar experience with hospitals, with hotels, with any other places.
Now, that brings me to this whole issue of privacy, consent, which is something which your business actually is an integral part of your business, right?
Absolutely.
Now, when I check into a hotel or when I check into a hospital, I will have to give my details, the ID, my health records, for instance, right? So, what exactly are you doing, or what is Equal doing to ensure that privacy is a huge discussion point these days? What are you doing to sort of keep customer data intact and private?
No, it's a fabulous question, Sourav. I think there are three things that we do. First is everything is customer consented. Anything that gets shared, the customer has decided to share for some services at our business. Equal is just the medium allowing you for sharing, a convenience factor.
And you don't store any of that?
No, if the customer wants to store, he can store, but the modus operandi is for him to share. And then the second is in terms of privacy and security. We've built the highest grades of privacy and security while storing, fetching, sharing, so that enables him to have trust. And the third thing, which is very important, is consent. Now, consent as an artifact, the consent manager framework is coming out with the DPDP Act, and the rules are getting framed right now. But we have already working with what the MeitY has prescribed as rules. So India is going to be a leader in consent manager, defining it, enabling it, making sure it works at scale. So I think it's a very exciting time for Equal, because the DPDP Act became an act last year, and now the rules are getting prescribed, and I think the government has done a fabulous job of making it very seamless, transparent, and also enabling it to be easy for businesses and customers to be able to understand it over time.
When you say you've partnered with the India Stack, what exactly are the terms and conditions of that partnership?
So I think the way the India Stack has built it is by having open APIs. And you as a party should have the regulation, the testing, the ability to be able to manage and meet their expectations, and you can integrate with them. So I guess partner is a more loosely used term, but it's more an integration with them. And when your customer wants to use his own data, we allow for it through that. So it's essentially the government's opening up the APIs for customers to use it, and we are just an integrator allowing for it.
So, like you said, the India's DPI allows for a multitude of things to be built on top of that. That is the core, at the core of the innovation, sort of ecosystem which is being built currently by all the startups and everything. Where do you see UPI there? Because you said that it's mainly about, the other part of the DPI, not UPI. Do you see any role in Equal in the UPI side, for instance?
I think in UPI, India is an innovator, right? Today there are so many people building amazing products in the payment stack,
right?
Which is UPI, of course. Equal doesn't see a great fitment there as today, because there's already large players building there. But there are a lot of opportunities around that which we're building in. So I think you will see Equal starting to look available for you everywhere for any services that you require.
For instance, give me an example.
Yeah, so for example, in a hospital, you'll start seeing us. You'll start seeing us at points of travel. You'll start seeing us at points of sharing for some loans. You'll start seeing us as different places.
So it's essentially identity.
That's correct. It's largely identity. That's correct.
But then that can be integrated with payment and all of that.
That's correct. So we will partner with people who are doing payments.
Right.
And there are phenomenal players who are doing payments.
So coming back to where you started off from, Keshav, you, as I said, you moved from physical infrastructure, where you've played a role earlier in your group, and then came to digital. So did your physical infrastructure experience, for instance, in your group working with the family, sort of train you in a way on how to move into this area?
I think the public physical infrastructure has its own, essence of what has been built, and that's I worked there in our airports business for multiple years. Amazing learnings that actually have now transcribed here as well. Obviously, the medium of interaction is different, but end of it all, you have to build something for India that people are proud of and trust. So I think those essence of what we're building there is also what.
And even there, you have something on identity like DigiYatra.
Yeah, which is a fabulous platform.
You don't see a role for Equal in that kind of sphere?
Not at this moment, but there could definitely be an integration with that.
Because that again brings you to your earlier avatar in the airport space, right?
Yeah,
so, right. But then that's again a big game changer. DigiYatra.
Absolutely, it's a fabulous platform. It's a fabulous platform.
And extremely convenient again. But the interesting thing is, we were speaking to the Digiyatra CEO the other day, and the magazine carries his interview. He has actually got plans to build it into a travel kind of a stack.
Correct.
India's travel stack.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But then that again comes in where you are operating, right? Somewhere.
Yeah.
So
no, I think and that's a great point. What we are doing at Equal is following the customer.
Right.
The customer travels sometimes, does banking services sometimes, goes real estate, does purchases or checks in or does other things. And we are actually following the customer. And if you're following the customer, we're integrated with the ABA UHI stack for health. We're integrated with other stacks of identity or what India's built. We'll be integrating with other partners of travel as well. But we'll be looking consumer first and where the consumer is going. So there'll be definitely areas of collaboration with them as well.
Do you see a lot of sort of potential on the travel side as well now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Suresh is doing a great job, and there are, he's solving a lot of pain points for customers at scale.
So that's so. What next for Equal? What is the road ahead? What is the kind of what are the kind of valuation levels you're looking at? And tell us a little more about the company now.
So Equal is now available in over 10 industries. We have
which is your biggest industry?
It would be banking, employment, travel, healthcare. These are the 4 problem statements that customers face often.
And in banking, what would you be doing?
So like lending journeys or other journeys of microfinance or other aspects of that. So
again, identity linked.
Yeah, absolutely, identity related. Most journeys of any purchase are largely identity journeys.
Yeah.
So wherever customer has any needs to share some documents for some services, Equal can be present. So Equal is present in 10 industries. We do a couple of million transactions this year on behalf of the customers, enabling that. And I think the next 12 to 24 months will be a point where we will grow significantly. Where today we are in the top 100 companies, we're going to scale to the top 1,000 companies. And so you'll start seeing Equal in a lot more places for a lot more use cases.
And this will be over the next year?
Yeah, over the next year. We were also one product as a company.
Yeah.
Now we actually have about 3 or 4 products as a company.
When you say products, could you elaborate?
Sure. So we obviously built a product for KYC. Then we built a product for non-KYC. There are a lot of places where you need to share some details for services, but you don't need to share an ID.
Right.
So and then we built other products which are different modes of sharing ID, right? So biometric based, which
and this would essentially be B2B. Am I right?
Yeah, these will be B2B2C. So you will see Equal in those journeys. And at some point in the future, in the next 24 months, we'll launch a B2C product. So you'll start seeing us and using us for some B2C use cases.
So then I would be able to sort of download
an
app
Equal app and stuff.
And what would that be? I mean,
I think it's a little early to say today.
If I were to take a peek into the future.
I think it's anywhere where you will have services where you need to share some documents. I will come to you first, Sourav, to show you what we are doing. But no, it's a very exciting time for India, an exciting time for playing a part on the digital stack that India.
But B2C is definitely on the horizon.
Absolutely. This is a B2C company. Equal will be, you said, 2 years from today, you will talk about the B2C story, how we're building around, how helping the customers in sharing, storing, ability to use and get access to services.
Given the tremendous interest around the entire DPI and the digital stack, Keshav, are you seeing a lot of investor interest in the company? What is that story looking like?
No, I mean there is a lot of investor interest in the company, amongst other things, but I'm a firm believer of prudent capital allocation and usage. You will see time and again that capital does not yield great results in software. It is actually product market fitment and ability to scale that efficiently. So there has been significant inbound interest, but I think at the right time always. Capital always is required at the right time.
So currently, who are the investors in your company?
So I'm the investor in the company, and then
so it's bootstrapped, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely, bootstrapped. And some of the biggest businesses in India are actually bootstrapped in technology.
True.
So and at the right time, we'll raise capital from outside.
And when will that be typically? As you scale up, because you're saying that your plans are pretty quick. You want to scale up in the next 1 or 2 years.
Technology moves fast.
Absolutely,
software moves fast.
Absolutely. So would that be?
I think in the next 12 months, we'll see a lot of excitement on the B2C direction. How we scale up, more businesses integrating Equal, And then at the right time, we will build our B2C product.
Yeah, because ultimately you need to show where you've traveled from.
Agreed.
So that brings me to the other point of your other hat which you wear is as of a tech entrepreneur and a tech angel investor. Essentially tech, am I right?
That's right.
So tell us a little more about that journey and how sort of you divide your time between investing in other companies and looking at equal.
So Reddy Ventures, which is the family office, was founded in 2015. So it's almost been a decade. We've invested in about 30 software companies. And which are in different industries. We've been very lucky and fortunate to have about 5 unicorns in our portfolio.
Wow,
and it was always the right time, right place.
And what parts of technology would these unicorns be?
So
which are the companies?
Yeah, so I think Upstocks, we were early in Upstocks. Cred was another one, we were very early in Cred. There's obviously in the US, there's a company called Chipper Cash, which is trying to do payments. Like remittance payments in Africa. So that's also another one. Hive, which is a computer vision AI company. And then Genies, which is playing a big role in actually the new age world of AI. So multiple players in that ecosystem. But it's been an amazing journey because you know, since 2015 till now, you've seen the ups and downs of software and investing. But I'm a firm believer of long-term investing. If you see the biggest companies in China grew with investors over a duration of 15 to 20 years.
Right?
And so I'm a firm believer of good founders, great moat, long-term thinking, big market space.
So your investment is essentially through the Reddy Ventures.
That's correct. That's right. Through the family office.
Yeah, through the family office. And would you like to sort of diversify a bit outside software, or is that the place where you think you can do best?
No, I think we've also started a new part where we're venture building. So we're building few ventures in the space of AI and other aspects of it. So I think soon you will start hearing and we'll start showing you more things that we're doing. A lot of excitement today in the world of AI and what great opportunity it brings, right? You have to build AI is going to change the way things interact, interface, space at which things move, and you add that to another sort of more traditional business, you're reinventing the business actually. That's the direction that is the second part of the venture studio per se we're building.
So that will be AI, ML linked kind
new
of
businesses.
New
That's
businesses. What would be the total portfolio size you have at this point?
About 30 companies and about $200 million in AUM.
Okay, $100 million.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. That's right.
And that journey continues to
That's
grow.
Right. That's right.
Now, that brings me to the other point which has been discussed ad nauseum for the last 2 years, which is the funding ecosystem itself.
That's right.
Now, one tends to believe, after I've spoken to multiple people, including yourself, that the funding winter is probably behind us, or at least starting to look a little different right now. What is your sense of that?
See, my sense is that capital coming into India is very important, and a lot of late stage capital has historically come from global VCs in India. There is always a cycle where people are very excited and there's excess amount of capital that comes in. But I think the funding winter was there for the last 2 years, and now I would call it the funding autumn, because you are seeing a lot of deals that are happening over the last 3 months were probably the best funding months in India over the last 2 years. So you're seeing a lot of activity. If it's early stage, mid, late stage, you're seeing a lot of activity in AI. You're seeing a lot of activity in AI related, like robotics. You're seeing stuff in space tech. So you're seeing a lot of innovation that's coming in, and a lot of capital backing that. And I feel that this year,
just to interject, how do you justify this timing, Keshav, now?
Sure.
What's changed?
I think what's changed is global investors have obviously settled on expectations. And then there is
also
the
madness of the earlier days and the crash overseas, the tech crash and all
that.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's, I wouldn't phrase it like that. I would actually phrase it as there was excess amount of excitement and businesses had to yield those results. And it took 2 years. Today you look at some of the biggest companies in India, are able to turn profitable. Tech companies.
Right.
So they all have realized that ability to turn profitable, and so many of them getting listed, holding value post-listing is a very big confidence point for late stage VCs, because then they realize that there's an exit possibility and there's a huge potential. So India is going to see a decade of fabulous growth of tech companies, opportunities. The consumerism is coming in, so there's huge amount of consumers willing and purchasing on, for example, quick commerce is just such a big win this year, if you see, right? There are 3 big players, all of them are succeeding really, really well and raising significant amount of capital.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going to be the excitement over the next few years. You'll see a lot of companies at the scale of China that are going to be there.
And I think what has changed also is that, even startups are raising money from, storied secondary market investors. In fact, we did a cover story recently about all the big, big boys of the secondary market, the big investors, how they are looking at interesting stories in startups and building big portfolios there.
No, absolutely. I think fundamentals are good. Businesses are able to prove that there is good potential, growth, profitability, and solving a pain point at scale. India has scale to its advantage. So if you're building something for Bharat, you're solving a big pain point, you're able to build a value proposition and build a business around it, there is going to be capital available, and it's very evident that it's already there.
Would you say the froth is now gone completely? I mean, people are much more real in terms of what valuations they can expect, and venture capitalists like yourselves are actually doing much harder due diligence than earlier?
I think due diligence is something that is very good, because it actually brings prudence to the process. There will be longer durations of it, and there will be more tactical ways of figuring out things. So I think it is good for the industry actually that people are take longer or relatively longer, not extreme durations of length, to figure out this is a great company, this is a great bet, and this is how we're going to see it play out.
And you better have a path to profitability.
Agreed. Every business today has to have a pathway to revenue, significant revenue generation and profitability. And those are the ones that are going to get capitalized easily.
Would you say the days of unicorn a week are gone? Because 2021 was crazy, unicorn a week kind of story.
That's right. I would say those days are gone. But there will be industry leaders that emerge out of a lot of new industries. So you may not see many companies in the similar space becoming unicorns, but you will see the market leaders will become stronger and are able to demand a serious premium.
So, and the point you made about listing, post-listing, holding on to the to the bottom line and the value, I think that's an important point which probably has renewed interest in the space. And what would be the exciting? You spoke about it a little bit earlier, but what do you think are the real interesting sectors in this second, sort of renewed interest phase?
I think anything with which can enable better experiences for customers. India is changing in demographics. They're getting younger, they're getting more demanding, more willing to pay for services that give them a great feeling. So you're going to see a huge change in the way businesses are being built, and it's going to be in consumer, it's going to be in financial services, it's going to be in daily ways of commerce. So the whole experience, and when you add AI as a layer, the interaction experience is going to be vastly different than what we are used to.
Would you also say that there will be interest in physical companies which deal in physical infrastructure? Or
I was just coming to that. The best companies which have the best moats today are the ones which are phygital in nature. Today, AI can break into all software. Today, the most valuable company as of today is NVIDIA.
Correct.
But when you go in the physical realm, you have to have the ability to do both. So the best companies today, if you're a founder, build a company which is phygital and has layers of artificial intelligence to make experiences significantly better, faster, quicker, and a wow experience. So those are the ones that are going to get capitalized.
That itself will be the moat.
That itself will be the moat.
Thank you very much, Keshav, and hope to see what you do next with Equal. And,
Thank you so
look
much.
Forward to having you again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sourav, for inviting me as always, and lovely chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you.